Heavenly Delusion is such an insanely good show. It's a real shame that I can count on one hand the amount of people that have heard of it, less that have even seen it. The show is a real hidden gem that's unfortunately been greatly overshadowed by the big boys that have come out recently, like Demon Slayer Season 3, the live One Piece, and the newest season of JJK. Is this racist?
Disgusting. I can't believe he's part of the same species.
Yup. So, what's the show about? Heavenly Delusion is set in an apocalyptic world overrun by man-eating monsters and follows two main storylines. The first follows a school that's isolated from the rest of the world. It radiates this uneasy, unnatural, almost alien-like energy every time it's on screen. A seed of curiosity is planted when one of the students' tests asks her if she wants to go outside of the outside that they think they know. The second storyline follows Maru and his bodyguard Kiruko, an insanely lovable duo that seeks to find a place dubbed Heaven, to give a boy who looks exactly like Maru some medicine. Lovable is an understatement, really. If I'm being honest, watching their storyline gave me this feeling of going on a road trip with some close friends. So what makes this show so special? Well, for as long as I've been watching anime, my biggest gripe had always been how on the nose most of them can be. When I watch a show, most of the time I can guess where the story goes, which characters are good or bad, and even their motivations just from a single glance. Heavenly Delusion is the exact opposite of that. This is not a series that treats you like an idiot. It doesn't hold your hand for even a single moment. The instant that you press play on this show, you are completely lost. You're just dropped into this world without any context or exposition. Little clues and details and foreshadowing are littered everywhere throughout the world, and the viewer is left to put them all together on their own. It's very much like Gravity Falls or Over the Garden Wall, in the sense that it's very, very tightly packed. You can tell that everything was planned from the very beginning. Every frame is intentional. Every line of dialogue serves a purpose. Every weird little detail or piece of imagery that doesn't make sense just means that you don't get to know the answer yet. And yes, I do mean every scene, even this one. I feel that a lot of anime tend to retread old ground. The same motifs and story arcs get reused constantly. Rarely has an anime been able to surprise me or catch me off guard, but this show manages to do it constantly. One of the first scenes that made me fall in love with the show was when our favorite duo are traveling along a highway and then they get confronted by these three thugs that plan to mug them. Suddenly, things start to break out into a fight. Our girl pulls out this little toy gun on her hip and... holy shit, that thing's a railgun! She's about to instant-jam these motherfuckers! This one scene alone sets the tone for the entirety of the show. It lets you know that you know absolutely nothing about this world, and that nothing in it is ever as it seems. The show constantly balances so many ideas and blends so many genres together. It switches from slice of life to action to psychological thriller, and then to comedy, all on a dime. It can go from having me dying of laughter in one episode and then having me in tears in the next. The amount of love and care that goes into every single episode and every single character is very apparent, and it shines throughout the entire show. Dr. Usami, Shiro, Asura, Juichi, Kona, Mimihime are just a few of the side characters, but each and every single one of them is so interesting that any one of them could have easily been the main character of the show. These people are not just great characters, they also feel like real people, with actual goals, aspirations, and motivations that drive them to continue living in this hellhole of a world. People trip and flinch over certain words in conversation when they're lying, and they all hide their true evil intentions behind good deeds and wide smiles. Not only that, but the show truly looks amazing. There's so much polish that goes into how the show looks. The animation is buttery smooth. I can actually tell what's going on in a fight, and for a show that takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, it's filled with so much color and amazing views. Throughout my watch, I found myself constantly pausing just to take in a scene. And the music, oh the music. Don't even get me started on the insane soundtrack in this show. The soundtrack is one of the best I have ever heard in an anime, which is no surprise when I found out that it came from Ushio Kensuke, the creator of not only the Chainsaw Man soundtrack, but also of Devilman Crybaby. As I get older, I start to take more notice of the music in whatever it is that I'm watching. The music choice can very, very easily make or break a scene. I used to not be as critical of this until I watched Super Crooks. Super Crooks soundtrack is god awful. Actually, no, let me rephrase that because it's just not true. Some of the tracks in Super Crooks are very, very unique and pleasant to listen to, but whoever is doing the sound designing for that show is either high or drunk like all the time, because every single time there's an intense scene that's meant to be taken seriously, it's immediately undercut by this goofy ass cartoon music that they use in literally every scene. Alright, I know that a channel of my size won't be able to sway a lot of people, but I sincerely hope that I've managed to convince just one person to check this show out. If you're even remotely interested in it, please give it like 3 episodes and then drop it after that if you didn't like it. Thank you for listening to my mad ramblings. I know this is a different genre of video than the ones that I normally make, but I quite like making this style of video. Hopefully you guys like it too, and I look forward to making more videos like this one in the future. That's it for me though. Thanks again for watching, and peace.
どうして落ちてゆく空の国